disservice. Now I'll give you my backhand. My winner whizzes down the line.
Betting weekly tennis live.
Are you ready for it? Here we go.
Welcome along to Betting Weekly Tennis Live, brought to you in association with Bet Rivers. Before we get started, make sure to like and subscribe to us on YouTube. Tell us what you think in the comments and follow us on social media. The handle is @BecauseWeWin. And make sure you subscribe to the Betting Weekly Insider newsletter with picks on various sports from our team of handicappers. I'm Rory, Jiwani. With me is Tim Dennis. We've got in-play action from day 3 of Wimbledon. Second round has got underway today. There was a bit of a rain delay at the start, but the action is well underway. Tim, what have you made so far of today's play?
The sort of most impressive performance, I thought, was Cam Noe coming back from a set down to defeat Francis Tiafoe. A big result for him. He's obviously been working hard throughout the clay season on this grass swing, and that's a big victory for him against a top 10 player. He'll be delighted with that and hopes to push on a little bit further if he can. Yeah,
not so good luck for another Brit, Ollie Tarve. It was a good story from him playing college tennis in the United States, won his opener, but found Carlos Alcaraz a little bit tough. He did give the two-time reigning champion a few alarms, not least breaking early in the second set, but Alcaraz coasting through to round 3. Tim, what did you think of Alcaraz there?
Yeah, pretty workmanlike. Obviously, a pretty dominant first set, and then just like I said, workmanlike in those second and third set, getting that all-important break. I think he actually had to break a couple of times in that final set because Talbot did steal a second break there, but a fairly competent performance, and he'll be more than happy having to get through in straight sets as opposed to playing 5 like he had to on Monday. So job done for him, and just what you'd expect, really.
Yeah, we haven't had too many shocks today. We had plenty yesterday and in round 1. Obviously, yesterday, Jessica Pegula and Coco Gauff both going out in straight sets in the women's. Alexander Zverev going out in the men's, down to Arthur Rinderknecht, the Frenchman, 6-4 in the 5th. We lost no fewer than 13 seeds in round 1, including Zverev, Lorenzo Musetti, as predicted by Sean Calvert. Holger Rune and Daniel Medvedev also out. Alexander Bublik went out yesterday as well. His opponent, Jaume Munar, was a massive $29 to beat him, and he did. Alexandra Muller was $29 to win set 2 against Novak Djokovic, and he did so, but the 24-time slam winner managed to win that. And Belinda Bencic had a first set bagel against Alicia Parks at $14. Well done if you backed any of those. Right, let's get you up to speed with what's happening in play at the moment. Benjamin Bonzi, who stunned Daniel Medvedev in round 1, having a bit of trouble here against Jordan Thompson. Although actually I say that he's just leveled at 1 set apiece. Yeah, so it's 1 set apiece. Thompson plus 115, Bonzi minus. A lot of women's matches going on at the moment, and Beatriz Haddad-Maia is on the brink. She looks like she's going out. The Brazilian's had a pretty awful season so far. Lost the first set on a tiebreak to Dalma Galfi of Hungary, and Galfi 4-love up and serving in the second. So it looks like we could have another shock here, another seed going out. Katie Bolter really struggling. She won the first set against Solana Sierra, the Argentine, but Sierra 5-2 up and serving for the second. Bolter minus 159, Sierra plus 125. As I say, lots of women's matches going on at the moment. Amanda Anisimova, now she had a double bagel in round 1 against Yulia Putintseva. not having things quite that easy today against Renata Zarazua. The Mexican actually doing surprisingly well on grass here. The American took the first set 6-4. Zarazua broke early in the second, and it's now back on serve. Zarazua serving at 3-4. She's $13 to win, and Anisimova pretty prohibitive odds. And even more so now, she's got a break point. She's now minus $100 to win that match. Linda Noskova is into a decider. She won the first set against Evelise, but the German took the second by the same scoreline, 6-2. And it's 2-2 in the decider. Deuce on the Lise serve. Lise plus 155, Noskova minus 205. Interesting match between Naomi Osaka and Katerina Siniakova. That's going with serve, 3-3 in the first. Osaka serving. The Japanese, the favourite, minus 167, Siniakova plus 133. And last year's runner-up, Jasmine Paolini, is leading 4-2 against Kamila Rakimova in the first set. The Italian minus 670 and Rakimova plus 425. And just missed one actually, Diana Schneider against Diane Parry. That one is on serve. The Frenchwoman 4-4 and 30 love up on serve. Schneider minus 215 and Parry plus 165. So that's you up to date. I beg your pardon, there's one more. Elise Mertens just about to close out victory against Anne Lee. She dropped the first set but won the second 6-1, and she's 5-2 up in the second. And not far away from getting underway, we've got one of the big matches of the day. Home favourite Emma Raducanu against Marketa Vondrousova, the 2023 champion. Vondrousova minus 190, Raducanu plus 148. Tim, I dare say you'll be watching the Raducanu match, or are you watching Bolter at the moment?
Yeah, I've got Bolter on my screen at the moment. She seems to make a habit of making life difficult for herself, doesn't she? Looked good in the first set, but again, making life hard. They're losing that second set, but I'd imagine this set will be far more competitive, and she'll show a higher level. I'm not quite sure what the total games there is in this third set, but I'd be probably looking in play to be probably over 9.5 would be where we had a bit of a lean there for me. I'd imagine that's about, I'm not actually sure. I'll just find it on my screen. I'm not sure if you've got it there, Rory, but if that's anywhere near plus money, that's probably what I'd be looking towards. It wouldn't be at all surprised if this gets a bit very cagey from this final set.
Yeah, over 9.5 games in set 3 is even money, plus 100.
Yeah, I think that's where I'll be going here. And this is obviously Mertens looks like she's about to win. Hadad Meyer's about to be defeated. Another good in-play game is Lise Noskova. Noskova's just broken actually to lead 3-2. So she'll be heavy minus money now on head on serve, and I think Anisimova is just about to take the match against Zarazua. So in play markets, probably Siniakova Osaka is another tight game that could be very tight. I actually saw Osaka play. She lost to Emma Navarro last week in Germany. I just thought when she made just a few too many errors when things got a little bit tight. So I'd certainly be keeping an eye on that match there if you like a look on Siniakova, because she could certainly take that if Osaka makes as many errors as she did last week. Yeah,
well, Siniakova beat Qin Wenxiang in round 1, and she's no mug on grass. She's serving at 3-4. Osaka's just won the first point of that 8th game. So Osaka minus 235, Siniakova plus 185, which could be worth a bet if Osaka makes unforced errors like she did last week. So that's where we are. And just to confirm, Amanda Anisimova is through to round 3. She's beaten Renata Zarazua and looking good in that second quarter. She's the favourite to win that quarter, and doesn't have the best record on grass or at Wimbledon, but she did reach the final at Queen's this year, and looking good for a deep run here at SW19. Two quarters there, Rory, that are completely just blown wide apart, haven't you? You've got quarter 2 and 3. I guess you've got Paolini in quarter 2 would be
would be the favourite to come through there. But I mean, she's no good thing the way she's been playing lately, and that looks really wide open, doesn't it? And obviously quarter four, you've got obviously Goff out yesterday, and then either Swiatek or Rabaikina will be out come the semi-final stage there as well. So I mean, it is wide open.
Absolutely, and just to bring you up to date, Solana Sierra has broken in the first game of the decider against Katie Bolter, the Argentine, -182, Bolter +145. So,
safely say that won't be the last breaker serve in that set, I imagine, yeah.
Yeah, well, Bolter obviously knocked out Paola Badosa in round one, as tipped by Nigel, who had a great 3 out of 3 in round one on Game Bet Match. Beg your pardon, Betting Weekly WTA. So hopefully Bolter, well, the crowd will certainly be hoping she can pull back. But after that win over Badosa, this would be a bit of a letdown were she to go out against the Argentine, who I believe was a lucky loser into the draw. So that's the in-play action at the moment. Let's have a look at some of tomorrow's matches. We'll start with the men's, and Grigor Dimitrov is up against Corentin Moutet, and Dimitrov -225, Moutet +180. The spread 4.5 games, totals 38.5. Unfortunately, Leslie Mack, we don't have a preview of Aisling Kruger against Anastasia Pavlyuchenkova, but maybe we'll have a little look at that later. Special request there. But back to Dimitrov Moutet, the spread 4.5 games and totals 38.5 games. Both players suffered from injuries. Moutet has actually won both their previous meetings, although their last was back in 2021. He did beat Dimitrov at Wimbledon in 2019. Yesterday, he dispatched Francisco Comesaña in straight sets and went viral with a delicate drop shot played between the legs. It's a fantastic shot. Dimitrov hasn't played since Roland Garros, but he did sweep past Yoshihito Nishioka also in straight sets. Tim, how's this one going to go?
Well, I actually had a look at lunchtime on this match, and when I looked then, it was about 5 or 6 hours ago, Moutet was +155 I saw, and so I thought +155 was fair. So I'm actually surprised to see a bit of a drift there to +180, but that's probably music to my ears. I quite like the sign to that because, like you said, these two have met twice before, again, a while back, but you'd imagine that while back, though, Dimitrov was a better player than he was right now. For me, I think 36 years of age, which is still relatively young in terms of sort of Djokovic and Djokovic terms, but he just looks to me like time's catching up with Dimitrov a bit from what I've seen. He's only played one game since the French, where he came through. I think he was injured in Monte Carlo. Didn't probably play his best in the French. I think the clay swing hasn't quite gone to plan for him. And I think if you look at Moutet, he was excellent in round one against Comesaña, coming through that in straight sets, winning 85% of his first serve points and a good service points, one return points, 114 to 86 compared to Comesaña. And perhaps he might not be completely at home in a grass court just yet, but still a good result. Moutet's played 12 main level matches this grass swing, winning 9 of those with a service points, 1 return points, 1 total of 104.4 against an average ranking of player of 53. So it's a reasonable standard along the way, beating Mixon, Lernetier and Taylor Fritz. I think one of his losses came to Zverev in Germany, which is, I mean, no disgrace. And yeah, I've been quite impressed with Moutet. I think he'll make Dimitrov work hard. He'll try and make this physical, drag him from side to side, play that drop shot that he's excellent with, and I think he'll try and make Dimitrov work. And I was surprised to see Moutet as big as he was at 155. So the fact he's now drifted to 180, I'm always going to say I'm even more confident. So Moutet for me, I'm quite keen on him tomorrow.
Yeah, Nigel subscribes to the philosophy, if one you like drifts, as it don't be a moron, put more on. And so you're sticking with Moutet at +180. That does seem quite a big price.
Yeah, and I think the comment there from Fashion for
Yeah,
Athletes about he might retire if he's down. But I mean, I think if you get a bet on with Bet Rivers, as long as the first set's been played and
that's
we're
it.
ahead, then that's no issue there. So yeah, Moutet playing probably some of the best stuff of his life, and I think Dimitrov is on the downgrade from what I've seen so far. So yeah, Moutet for me.
Okay, before we look at another men's match tomorrow, bring you up to date with some of the in-play action. Elise Mertens is through. She's beaten Anne Lee. Dao McGalfey has knocked out Beatrice Haddad-Meyer in straight sets. And Katie Bolter in all kinds of trouble against Solana Sierra. Sierra broke in the opening game. She then managed to hold serve, and now she's got 2 break points on the Bolter serve for a 3-love lead. So, Tim, you said there might be more breaks of serve, but I don't think we thought there'd be more for the Argentine. And sure enough, the Sierra has won that 3rd game.
Double fault as well, yeah.
A double fault from Bolter. She does throw them in opportune moments, doesn't she?
Yeah.
And Bolter now $6, Sierra -9.10. Linda Noskova has consolidated her break against Evelise, 4-2 up in the decider. Deanne Parry has taken the first set against Deanna Schneider, so there could be another upset here. The French woman who I think she has caused a couple of shocks at Wimbledon in the past. Has got a really nice single-handed backhand. She's now -240, Schneider +180. Naomi Osaka taking the first set against Katerina Siniakova. Osaka -590, Siniakova +400. Paolini has dropped the break. Rakimova's broken back against Jasmine Paolini. Now we're back on serve. Rakimova serving to stay in that first set. She's +280. And Paolini -400, and just about to get away between Emma Raducanu and Marketa Vondrousova. Vondrousova's going to serve first, and she's -190. Raducanu +148. And in the men's, Jordan Thompson and Benjamin Bonzi, 2-2 in the 3rd set, 1 set apiece. That's going with serve. And Yuri Lehechka just about to get underway against Mattia Bellucci. The Czech is -500. Bellucci +335. So that's us up to date on the in-play action. Tim, are you watching Bolter, did you say?
Yeah, I've watched Bolter. Yeah, like I said, she just gifted away that second break with a double fault there, and yeah, just a few too many errors. But wouldn't be the biggest surprise to see this turn around still. Obviously, Messiera might get a little bit tight the closer this gets to the winning line, and Bolter shouldn't need too much encouragement if that does happen with a crowd behind her. So, yeah, even though this is, 15-all now on the Sierra serve. So, I think this is a long way from done.
Okay, so hopefully plenty of play to come in that one. Let's look at tomorrow's matches again. We're looking at another Brit, Jack Draper. He's up against Marin Cilic, the Croatian veteran now, former US Open champion, of course. Draper -$10, Cilic $6. The spread is 6.5 games. It's 6.5 games, but a little lopsided. Draper +123, Cilic -159, and totals 35.5 games. Draper beat Sebastian Baez in round 1. He was 2 sets to love up, and then the Argentine retired in set 3. Cilic, straight sets win over Belgium's Raphael Collignon. Do you think this is going to be as one-sided as the odds suggest, Tim?
I don't, Rory, to be honest with you. And I think there's quite a few different ways you could sort of play it. Cilic looked really good in round 1 to me, coming through in straight sets, like you say, beating Collignon, winning 84% of his first serve points, 16 aces. Yeah, very impressive on serve. He's actually won 9 of his 11 matches he's played on the grass this year. And I say 9 of 11. One of those losses was in an exhibition at Hurlingham in a final set 10-point tiebreak. So you could actually say he's probably won 9 of 10. Obviously, they've come at challenger level. He won the event there in Nottingham. So yeah, he's been very impressive so far. I mean, over those 9 matches on grass, he's got service points won and return points won total of 111.4. Again, obviously this is at a slightly lower level than he's going to be facing today, but he's obviously coming here full of confidence. And Draper on a home court, bit of pressure on him still to get this done. And obviously he came through very comfortably against Baez. Obviously being injured too, taking that in 2 sets when he was injured. But I think Cilic here, he won't go down. He'll go, if he does go down, he'll go down fighting. And I thought he'd make it tough for Draper here. Many different ways you could probably look at it, whether it be the spread, over total games. But the one bet that appealed most to me, and it was I think you can bet over 20.5 Jack Draper total games was plus money. And I thought Cilic was certainly more than capable of taking a set here. I think Draper will come through, but I think Cilic will make him work hard for it. And I thought over 20.5 Jack Draper total player games was a good way to go, because I'm confident Cilic will make him fight really hard for this.
Okay, so I'm just going to try and find the odds for that.
I think I saw plus 102 it was earlier, where the line has changed again. That was a similar sort of time I looked at the other game. So, I mean, with it not being a money line bet, I'd be surprised if that's moved, if at all. And if it has, it'll only be very small. But yeah, it was plus 102 when I had a look earlier.
Yeah, we'll try and find that one in a minute. Just saw one of the comments flash up about another men's match. Was it one of the matches in play? If we could get that comment that just was up. Here we go. Lehechka Bellucci over 35.5 games. That match just starting. Lehechka on grass. What do you think? Philly guy thinks Bellucci could get a set here.
Obviously, Lehechka had a good run there at Queen's, just losing out to Alcaraz in the final. And we said before on our preview show, didn't we, when the draw was being done, that these guys, these men certainly that have had a good record at Queen's, have gone on to good things. Obviously, Alcaraz winning it before, and then a few others as well down the years. So Lehechka making that final, he was pretty good in his first victory there. Can get tight at the odd moment here, so wouldn't be the biggest shock if Bellucci took a set, and could well be serve dominated on a game, which will be, obviously the weather's not quite as hot in the next couple of days as it has been on Monday and Tuesday, but still dry conditions and still should be playing pretty quick. And I'd imagine this will be on one of the outside courts that will be playing a little bit faster, from what I've seen to my eye, than the main courts. I thought, actually, when I watched a bit of Sabalenka today, I haven't checked the stats of the day so far, but to my eye, it just looked a little bit slow, I thought, compared to what I've seen on the outside courts. So you'd imagine that will be on one of the outer courts tomorrow, and that could well suit the games line. So
there could be a chance to go overs games there. Lehechka Bellucci. Up to date with live action. Actually, I'll bring you up to date with Tim's bet. So is that your daily double? Mute and Draper over 20?
Yeah, that if we sticking with that daily double, those would be the two. Yeah, I'd stick with Mute, and I'm almost happy to see the drift there. So and I'll chuck him in with that Draper over 20.5 total games. So it's plus 100 now, so it's coming ever so slightly.
So even money, that one. Mute plus 180. The daily double plays plus 460. Looking a bit like now or never for Bolter against Solana Sierra, who led 4-love. Bolter has just held serve, so it's 4-1. And she needs to break now, you feel. Bolter plus $8, Sierra minus 12.50. Linda Noskova has just beaten Evelise 6-3 in the third, so she's through to round 3. But Deanna Schneider looks to be heading for the exit. She dropped the first set against Deanne Parry, and Parry now got a break early in the second, leading 2-love, and she's 30-love on serve. Schneider $7 to come back there. Parry minus 12.50, and Osaka Siniakova, that's going with serve in set 2. Osaka took the first set, and Jasmine Paolini's taken the first set against Kamila Rakimova. She's now minus 11.15. Rakimova plus 6.50. Let's look at a couple of tomorrow's women's singles matches. We'll start with Jinyu Wang against Zeynep Sonmez. Now, Sonmez landed one of Nigel's bets in round one. She covered the spread against Jackie Christian. When we looked at that match on Betting Weekly WTA, I commented that both players were pretty dreadful on grass, and nothing has changed my view of that. And she's up against a player in Jinyu Wang who reached the final in Berlin just a couple of weeks ago. Took a couple of big scalps, beating Coco Gauff and Lyudmila Samsonova, amongst others. Went down in the final to Marketa Vondrousova. And I think, Sonmez made pretty hard work of her win over Christian. She was 4-2 down in the first set, had to take that on the tie break, and then won the second. I think it was 6-3. I think Wang will win this very comfortably. The odds tell you that, so we'll have to be a little bit creative.
Yeah, I was going to say, Roy, when you mentioned talking about this match, I was interested to see where you were going to go here, because obviously, like you said, Wang a heavy favourite. So yeah, I was interested to hear your thoughts on where you were finding your angle.
Yeah, I was surprised that 5.5 games, Wang minus 5.5 games was plus 108. So I think you could have a decent bet on that. And I think you could have a bit on Wang minus 6.5 games at plus 188 as well. But those look pretty good to me. I mean, Sonmez is very much a slow court player. She's a good scrambler. But I think she's all at sea on grass, and against someone who is in good form and is pretty useful on grass. I think she's right up against it here. So
we're biking a bit yesterday, so you're sort of following in the same sort of footsteps there. Hopefully the result will go the same way.
Yeah, I mean, as some of the viewers will know, I mean, that used to be my main course of action for betting, was to find one-sided matches, especially in early stages of slams, because you do get some very, you get top 5 players, top 10 players playing players who are outside the top 100 and qualifiers as well. And so first round of slams, you can get very one-sided matches. It's less the case now than it was, say, 10 years ago. It's a lot more competitive than it was then. But I think these are good opportunities when someone who's come through round one but hasn't convinced and is coming up against someone who's useful on grass. So I think that's the angle here. And it's actually the angle for my second bet tomorrow, second match we're going to look at, which is between Sofia Kenin and Jessica Bouzas-Monero. Kenin minus 245, Bouzas plus 190. The spread 3.5 games and totals 21.5. Again, similar logic here. Bouzas-Monero did beat Marketa Vondrousova in round one last year, but Vondrousova was clearly injured for that match. This year on grass, the Spaniard lost to Heather Watson at Eastbourne and then had an injury retirement win here in round one over Germany's Ella Seidel, who's no great shakes on grass herself. Kenin hasn't shown that much form on grass in recent years, although she did win in Mallorca back in 2019, beating Belinda Bencic in the final. She defeated Taylor Townsend, who's not a bad grass court player, in round one. And I just think she's a couple of levels above Bouzas on this surface. I think she'll cover the spread. That's 3.5 games at minus 122. But the bet I actually like is Kenin on the set handicap. Kenin minus 1.5 sets at plus 110. I think that's a big price. She served pretty well against Townsend, saving 6 of 8 break points. And I think if she repeats that performance, she'll come through pretty comfortably here. Tim, I don't know if you've seen much of Bouzas on grass, but she doesn't look natural to me. And I mean, I'm not sure Kenin's a natural on grass, but I think she's just a bit better than the Spaniard.
Yeah, probably the more natural of the two, isn't she? And she's been playing some pretty good stuff so far this year, Kenny. And I've been quite impressed with her. And I'll be certainly actually want to look forward to getting back on a hard court come the end of the year, because she's I thought she showed some good form pretty much all the way through from Australia for me. And like you say, as far as this grass court goes, she looks to me like she's probably going to be the more comfortable of the two. So yeah, I couldn't disagree with anything you said there. And perhaps the -1.5 sets looks a good way to go, with her coming through in straight sets tomorrow, hopefully.
Yeah, just bring you up to date with some of the big bets which have been placed today. There was a wager of $8,000 on Francis Tiafoe to beat Cam Norrie at -159. Obviously, that was a loser. $5,000 on Carlos Alcaraz on the morning line at -$50 to beat Ollie Tarver. That was a winner, but prohibitive odds. And similarly, the case for Karen Khachanov against Shintaro Mochizuki, $4,800 at -556. And the match going on right now, Naomi Osaka, morning line, $3,500 at +118 to defeat Katerina Siniakova. So that match going on right now.
I must say, so much for that final set being tight, because Sierra's just dismantled Bolter 6-1, pretty much awful for Bolter. Just, yeah, especially on a home court with a crowd behind her. Yeah, a very dismal display from her, having taken the first set to go out like that. As far as the Brits go, Raducanu started positively, though. She took the first game and she was 15-30 on the Vondrousova serve here. So a little bit better news for the Brits as far as that goes. But yeah, awful from Bolter by the looks of things.
Yeah, I don't think she's been in great form. I mean, very much after the Lord Mayor's show with beating Badosa, but in Nottingham, I expected her to win that. She'd won it the previous 2 years, and she was disappointing, losing to McCartney Kessler, if memory serves, in the quarterfinals. So yeah, Bolter goes out to Solana Sierra. That's a big shock. And a bit of a shock for the home crowd. Going to have another shock as well by the looks of it, because Deanne Parry is 2 breaks up. She's 4-love up in the second set on Deanna Schneider, having taken the first. So the French woman looks like she's going to knock out Schneider. Now, which quarter is Schneider in? I think she's in Q2, which becomes even more open. I think Anisimova heads that Q2. But Schneider going out would be a big upset. Would be a big shock.
The winner plays Sonny Cartel next.
Yeah, another Briton who's got going through. Because last week when we were discussing Cartel, was it last week?
How about that as well? Sierra will play Buska in the next round as well. You talk about two different round 3 matches, Sierra and Buska, and you could eat. If Vondrousova comes through here, she'll play Sabalenka. So talk about a difference in abilities in a similar sort of round match. This draw is just for the odd player here and there. It's wide open, isn't it? It's amazing how open it's become.
Yeah, Vondrousova has held serve for 1 apiece. I think I said Vondrousova was serving first, but actually it's Raducanu who's serving first in that first set.
I'm not sure whether that Fred Springer there put Vondrousova live -110. If Raducanu holds here, whether she's -110 down a serve, could be worth the in-play, like he says, because she was a lot shorter than that starting the game, and just to hold a serve, you wouldn't put you off too much if you're going at -110. I wouldn't have thought.
-110 for Vondrousova.
Vondrousova, yeah, I just saw he put. I think that was when it was certainly maybe 15-30, or maybe even 11-30 that was available. But I'm not quite sure if Raducanu does hold her serve here. It'll be interesting to see what price she is, because she'll still be sort of minus money, but not as short as she started the match. That's for certain.
Yeah, that's going to be an interest. Whoever wins this match, as you say, the winner plays Sabalenka. That's going to be a huge match. Whoever gets through. Obviously, Vondrousova winning in Berlin, having been, in the doldrums a bit, suffering with injury, off-court issues. Do you think she's a threat for the title?
Vondrousova?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she's scheduled it well here, isn't she? I wanted to ask you about this on the show, Rory, about players playing the week before, i.e. Pegula, and I know Goff spoke about it in a press conference, whether she should have played more. Obviously, she didn't, and she's out as well. So, Vondrousova is obviously clearly, for me, she scheduled that well, because I like playing the week before, obviously winning the tournament, then having the week off. So obviously get to Wimbledon early. Well, I'd imagine everything was quite a bit of a rush for Pegula. So obviously it's each to their own, and players have their own ways of doing things, I'm sure. But Pegula might look back at that and think she'd do things differently next year, having been beaten in round one, whether it's fatigue, whether it's the travel, or whether it's just what it is. But I mean, what are your thoughts, Rory? Would you like a player you were betting, would you like them to get to Wimbledon early, fresh, and have the week off in between, or would you like them playing the week before?
I don't really have a strong view. I mean, I go back to the 2021 French Open when Barbara Krejcikova looked amazing in Strasbourg, and then she won the French Open. And I could be wrong, but did Madison Keys play the week before the Australian Open this year?
Yeah, I think she did. Yeah, was it Adelaide?
Yeah. It might have been Adelaide.
Double check.
Yeah, so most of the players take the week off. Most of the big players will take the week off. Obviously, Iga Swiatek played last week because she hadn't had any grass practice before Bad Homburg. It's hard to tell. I mean, obviously people make the fatigue argument, but I think players the fitness levels generally are so high that I don't think it's as much as an issue as it used to be. So the fact that a player has played the week before certainly wouldn't put me off. But you might have a slight preference for someone who's reasonably fresh. I mean, for someone like Vondrousova, who does have a bit of a patchy fitness record, you probably wouldn't want her playing the week before the Slam. There are certain players like Karolina Mukova and others who you wouldn't want playing the week before a Slam. But as I say, it wouldn't put me off particularly. And the way Vondrousova played in Berlin, I mean, she beat Madison Keys in round one, and I didn't think she played all that well. But she did improve as the week went on. And she's a handful. She's won this tournament before. She's a lefty. She's got a great drop shot, good variety. She's won it before. She could win it again. It wouldn't be the greatest shock in the world were she to do so. But a tough draw. See Raducanu here and then Sabalenka up next. And as I say, that is deuce on the Raducanu serve at 1 apiece. Osaka's got a break in the second set against Siniakova, so that money line bet could be landed. Diane Parry 5-love up on Diana Schneider, who might have just chucked in the towel here with a Russian serving to stay in the match, but looking like the French woman is going to go through. So that's the women's. On the men's side, let's bring you up to date with what's happening there. Benjamin Bonzi serving for the third set. He's 5-4 up on Jordan Thompson there. Lehechka against Bellucci going with serve early on, 2-1 to the Czech, 30-love, 40-love now to Bellucci. The Italian plus 320, Lehechka minus 480. Bonzi Thompson, Bonzi is now minus 420, and Thompson plus 295. Before we go, Tim, let's recap your daily double for tomorrow.
Okay, yeah. Jack Draper over 20.5 total player games at plus 100. And just a very simple one on the second match. Karim Moutet to beat Grigor Dimitrov on the money line at plus 180.
And that daily double pays plus 460. Good luck if you get involved with that. Thanks for your comments. Thanks for tuning in. Tim, thank you as always. I think I'll see you again next week on here for more in-play Wimbledon action. Have you had any thoughts on the men's tournament, who you fancy? Obviously, Alcaraz coming through today. Sinner came through his first round match. We've seen lots of upsets. Anyone taking your fancy in the men's?
Without the risk of sounding too boring, it does almost look a two-horse race, doesn't it? Obviously, Djokovic coming through in 4 sets yesterday, said he wasn't quite feeling his best. So good effort to get through as he did in the end. But yeah, without wishing to sound boring, and I'm not really telling people and I'm not really telling people anything they don't already know. And the fact that these two just look streets ahead of the rest, don't they? Obviously, I'm looking forward to the Fritz game tomorrow. He's got another tough game against the Canadian there, and having to play 2 days almost. I know they weren't full matches, but he had to come back and play both days. So it will be his third day in a row of playing, which I don't think will suit him too well tomorrow. So there could be an avenue there for an upset. But yeah, as boring as it sounds, that the main two just look streets ahead from what I can see.
So there you go. Thanks, Tim. That's it from us on Betting Weekly Tennis Live. Make sure you sign up to the Betting Weekly newsletter. The newsletter drops on Mondays, and the Betting Weekly Insider drops every Friday. All the tips from all your favourite handicappers, loads of sports. We've got the tennis, we've got the Football Club World Cup entering its final stages over in the States. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back again next week with more Betting Weekly Tennis Live from Wimbledon.